Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Rural Survival Show with Tim Spencer and Rick Schmidt. Today is the 21st day of August in the year of our Lord 2022. Special shout out to my daughter, whose birthday it is today. Without her, we wouldn't have this farm. But anyway, Rick, I'm going to let you start out. And just so you know, Rick and I are both irritated, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to hit the record button when we first started this. So this is sort of like a second take. And I'm thoroughly irritated with myself. It was my fault. And my sincere apologies to Rick. We got to do this again. But anyway, Rick, go ahead, buddy. And I forgot where we started last time.
Yeah, so target prop. We started with target. Well, I remember.
Okay.
We started with the target profits being off 90% as the retail shopper pulls back. The retail shoppers are simply not here. And why aren't they here? They're here because they're not here because they don't have any money. Okay, years of compounding unemployment, and then we've got inflation and other factors have robbed the retail purchaser, the retail buyer, the middle American, robbed them of spending cash. And they used to call inflation the invisible thief, but it
ain't
kind of right in your
invisible.
face, right? No, it's right here. It's right here for everybody to see and feel. Walmart has the exact same problem. They both have those metal storage containers on the back lot.
Yes.
And those aren't free. You have to rent them. Their inventory is in those, and this is extra inventory,
which they have to pay tax on.
Due, yeah, it's here because of the supply chain problems. They kind of heaped up, and Target has said in response when they were interviewed regarding their financial debacle here, is that even serious price cuts did not help. It didn't solve the problem. So they're warning that this won't be the end of that the retail consumer does not have enough money to pay for their house and their car and their clothes. People are canceling everything they can that could be a leisure situation. That could be your cable, vacations, buying a new vehicle, buying a canoe. You know, they're just not here, and I think we all know why. I'm not going to belabor the point. There's also apparently the weather anomalies are insane. China is having severe problems creating electricity due to a very prolonged heat wave. They're asking people to not drink water. I don't know what there's something. They're trying to cut. They've got hydroelectric problems, as we have out there in the West.
Right.
You know, where you have Lake Mead and the other lake whose name I can never remember, drying up. So it's we're on a 40-year cycle. This was basically predicted to happen, and it is happening. Real estate prices are falling. Base metals are falling apart because construction, new housing starts are off severely. So as a result, mortgage companies are failing and going out of business.
Right.
Subprime mortgages are beginning to fail just as they did in 2007. That whole meltdown was basically a subprime problem.
And to top it off, credit's
And
drying up.
well, yeah, because interest rates are up. The consumers back on their heels. Not only they're lucky to be able to afford food right now, and that is getting a little dicey as the drought continues. The food supply is kind of getting kind of strange. We walk into a place like Walmart or Aldi's with a shopping list, but it's not like it used to be. You don't necessarily
No.
get everything on the list. You might have to try a couple stores, and even after that, you might find out that 5,000 people in front of you tried the same thing and they couldn't find it either, so it's gone everywhere, and you have to wait a week or two to get it.
Right. If you get it
The
at all.
right. Well, and so now we'll segue into what I wanted to say about our 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 mantra, our pleas for you to learn to grow your own food, to stock up some
Right.
food, to learn to clean water, to learn to take care of yourself, to learn to take care of your family. And you either did or you didn't. And to that point, I want to mention something about church this morning, and that which I have been actually meaning to mention for the last 2 weeks. And for some reason, I get all wound up. The old adage, the man who is up to his ass in alligators forgets that he's trying to drain the swamp.
Right.
There's so much insane news and other things that a man could talk about that you forget some of the important things. And this is the important thing. I have been waiting for them. There is what's called a liturgical calendar, obviously. You don't just walk into a church and somebody just launches off into some random conversation about some dream they had. That's not how this works. There's a liturgical calendar and a sequence of events that mimics or parallels the life of Jesus. Okay. And that's how it's done. Okay. You don't just get to say nobody's going to talk about Christmas right now or Easter. That's not how this works. So I was waiting for them to talk about the parable of the narrow gate. And sure enough, they did. I was going to bring it up 2 weeks ago. But here's the deal. The you all know the Bible passage. People go running to Jesus at the end in a panic, saying, "Lord, Lord, let us in. You taught in our streets and in our temples." And Jesus says, "Be gone. I tell you, I do not know where you're from." And I'm paraphrasing, of course. I'm not going to read it. We're not going to drag this out. But the second plea mimics the first. But Lord, Lord, we ate and drank with you, and you taught in our temples. And Jesus once again says, I tell you, I do not know you, and I do not know where you are from. Be gone, you pack of evildoers. Now, what does that mean? Is Jesus really that mean?
No.
It's important to, no, he's not. It's important to know the meaning of this. I think we all have a vague idea of what's being asked of us, what's being asked of our moral lives, of our stewardships, husbands, wives, fathers, mothers. We know what we're supposed to be doing. And as I said before, in our practice run, I do not regard myself as a religious. I'm not a religious scholar. I'm not a deacon, nothing like that. Although I did study for years um, the Bible, but here's the deal: um, you have a stewardship responsibility, and I think you have a vague idea if what it is, and if you don't, shame on you. You probably aren't going to be able to get any of this conversation. Jesus did, in fact, eat with them, and he did, in fact, teach in their temples and in the streets. The problem is they didn't listen. They didn't do what he asked.
Right.
They dropped the ball, and now, when it's too freaking late, they show up banging on the door saying, "Let me in." You cannot let them in. These people, in their condition, are not going to be allowed into heaven, not until they get some stuff straight. I highly suggest you start getting things straight now. Get your lives straight.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
I don't
that
care how
really
you do it.
is easier said
Find a
than
way.
done.
All right.
I know in my own life, it's
It is.
very hard to break old bad habits, Rick. I try. Well, I
Yep.
try hard,
Yep.
but it's still,
Right.
it's hard.
Right.
Not that
It
it's
is.
impossible.
It's no, it's not impossible. It better not be, or heaven's going to be a very, very empty place. But my point would be here: when you have a weakness or a tendency to commit a certain sin, we, as a matter of fact, humorously, we talked about this on the way up to church this morning. You start out by thinking that you're telling yourself no, when in fact that's quite a lie. You're actually telling yourself yes. Yes, I am going to have a better life. Yes, I am going to be a better version of myself. Yes, I am going to win. Yes, I'm going to get to heaven. Not no, no, I can't do this. No, I can't do that. That's not how this works. Satan would love for you to think you're always telling yourself no. That's not what this is. You're just agreeing to be the best version of yourself you can possibly be. And does that mean that you're going to be completely perfect and sinless on the day of your death? Nope, doesn't mean that. But you damn well better give it a try. Saint Paul, I think, said, "I don't run this race like a man who's lost sight of the finish line." That's what they're asking. They're asking you to do your best. Um, Stop looking at it as a punishment and start looking at it as an opportunity to win. Um, to that point, how many times have we asked you people to learn to grow food? How many times have we asked you people to store up some food,
Right.
to get some skills, learn to can, learn to clean up your water, stuff like that. Just common everyday. Um, we're not even going to call them survival skills. In the 1800s, it was not uh, uncommon for a family to spend half of its monthly income on food.
True.
We don't have to do that now. At
Well,
least not well, unless you're in
coming.
Venezuela. Yeah, it is. Um, I have a lot of problems with raccoons, and I keep trapping them and shooting them and throwing them away.
No, I
Okay,
was wondering if you were
so
skinning them
so
still.
because they are no, that
Too
is a
much
greasy
time.
job. No, but here's the deal. Well, like I was about to say, they're a nuisance right now because all they do is kill the birds, kill the chickens, whatever. But that is dinner for four in Venezuela. So you never know
Yeah.
what I'll be up to by Christmas. Christmas dinner might be barbecued coon. I don't know.
Well, Lori
So
likes that.
my point is this: it wasn't so long ago that finding your food was a big part of your life.
Yeah,
So
full-time job.
if you want to live. So don't let it become that again. Start taking this thing seriously.
Well, Rick, I was
Turning the
listening.
corner.
I just want to throw something in real quick that might get people's
Yeah,
attention. Some of
sure.
actually a majority of what we consider the great financial minds are saying that, our entire system is going to be broke before the end of the year. Some of them are saying before the end of
Right.
September. They're saying that cash will be
Yeah.
good 2 weeks to a month after it crashes. And then it don't make any difference how many $100 bills you have. You won't be able to buy a loaf of bread.
Yep.
Uh,
Well,
so
Venezuela, Zimbabwe.
I
Yeah,
think it's going to be
that's that.
worse.
It 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 follows the exact same pattern no matter what country you're in. When this goes, people
Right.
are people. Fiat currencies all collapse the exact same way, and the result is always the same. The people that did this run away laughing, like the Joker, and the common everyday people suffer. Um, there are, I think, 173 or 183 countries in the world.
183,
Um,
I think.
there are 100 countries. There are 100 countries in this world that don't have as many citizens as our U.S. government has employees. I mean, this whole thing is so out of control. It is absolutely ridiculous. And now we have the Congress, supposed, whatever that means, um, passing this. What was it, $740 billion Inflation Reduction Act? What a joke. That alone is a laugh because printing money out of thin air is how inflation got here. Um, but what I was going to say, and their climate initiative, but they set aside 70 79 billion, I think it is, um, to hire for the IRS to hire 87,000 new IRS agents who, according to their website, have to be willing to use deadly force.
Right.
We also have this bizarre deal where the left has been trying to get rid of oh, uh, combat rifles, the normal black rifle, the everyday garden variety
Right.
uh, self-defense weapon. But they've been gobbling them up, and that and hollow point ammo for the IRS.
Yeah.
So I'm not at all certain what these clowns think they're about to do, but they think they're about to do something. And to that exact point, Dr. Michael Burry, the author, well, the the subject of the movie The Big Short, sold, according to the latest SEC filings, sold all of his stocks
Right.
and only has bought one, and that is a private prison system. Okay. So if you take that piece of information and you go ahead and couple it with uh, the problem we're having with a new weaponized IRS, I'm going to let you try and figure out what is up with that. Okay, so summer's winding down. My determinate tomato plants are well, they're doing what all very old people do. They're dying. So I'm warning you right now to try to enjoy BLTs and tomato sandwiches because you're running out of time. So I do have time though. I'm planting more zucchini. I guess a 45-day crop. We are eating a lot of stir-fried zucchini. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
More fun than I remember. So we're gonna go ahead and do that one more time. But I will tell you this: a couple things about this. One of the things is that I have not been able to successfully um, germinate zucchini seeds outside, because no matter what I do, sprinkle cinnamon or cayenne on them, the mice go right in there and eat the seeds. So
Yeah.
now I have some six packs on the kitchen counter, and I will wait until they pop and then I'll bring them out. And I will solve this problem one way or another. Um, to that point, two more gardening tips here. I have seen um, uh, Hoss Tools was doing an experiment with no-till. In order to create a no-till bed, they overlaid one existing bed. Now it's up to three, but with about 4 to 6 inches of compost, which is
Right.
nice. And I think, we all knew, anybody with a brain knew that it was going to take a couple of years for the microbial action to get going in order for that to be a viable no-till bed.
Right.
But that's not my point here. Um, the young man, his name is Travis, um, warned. He said planting your starts, your plugs into compost, and in my case, I overlaid a couple of my beds with alfalfa pellets. It's going to be the same deal here.
Right.
We had rain, about a half inch of rain, 2 days in a row, and my beds were nice and moist. And I took a bunch of beet plugs and some collards, and I went out and I planted them, and I ignored them for 48 hours. Reasonable, right? I mean, the bed's
Right.
been rained on twice. Nope, not. Come back, about 2/3 of each crop was not just dead, but gone. Um, what happens with a an over laid bed, whether it's compost or alfalfa or anything, is the drainage is so superior. The soil is so fluffy and dries out so quickly that if you're gonna do that, you're gonna have to overhead water like at least every day, maybe twice a day, depending on the weather. Otherwise, you're just not going to get anywhere. And the same would be true. So what I did, okay, so the way I solved my problem was, um, I got emotional and I threw a fit, and I went back out there with beet seeds and collard seeds, and I was able to revive a small portion of what was there, but where everything was missing, I direct seeded collards and beets.
Right.
Okay, now until they germinate, at least, I will be hand watering twice a day those two beds to keep them nice and wet so that I get good germination. The good part of this is that the weather is moderated a bit. It's getting into the 80s every day,
Right.
and this is good weather to germinate seeds. So that, if I'm getting a break here, and bear in mind beets and collards are cool weather. That was cool
Yes.
weather crop I planted. So I've got time to fix it. But the other thing I want to mention is the beets. I had a beet bed down there, and the mice and the voles found it in the heat, and they started eating beets. And because beets is a superfood, I guess what I've got is a bunch of mighty mice, mighty mouse, mighty meat, mice running around the place now, all full of beets. So to solve that problem, I went down there, and I will be doing this every few days. Sprayed some fox urine around, not on my food, just around the beds. And Lord have mercy, do they hate fox urine? So that there are a couple of handy tips.
Yeah.
I was warned by Travis Key that this would happen. That if you plant it into compost, that you better look out.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? It wasn't real because it didn't happen. It didn't happen to me. So now it's real. Now it happened to me. Now I killed a bunch of my own plants because I wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
If you have ears to hear and eyes to see, I suspect you better think about using them. Otherwise, you're going to wind up hurting a bunch of innocent people. Um, I really did think I was beyond that. Oh, my arrogance. I am a mess. I'm working on it. I'm still working on that.
We all are,
Okay.
buddy.
Let no patience. When I was born, somebody walked by and said, "Should I give this one patience?" And they said, "No, no, give him intelligence, but no patience." And that was how that went.
Yeah,
Somebody else got my patience. My wife got it. So, but at least it's under my roof. So,
I'll
so
tell
there you
you,
go.
when I lost my
Yeah.
leg was when I got my patience. Yeah, it
Where'd you put
really
it?
is.
Never mind. Hey, do you know why? Yeah. Do you know why things are always in the very last place you look? Of course you
Oh
do.
yeah, because then you quit looking for
Yeah.
it.
They are. Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So patience. Yeah, that's a fact. I have seen other people who maybe they're in a car accident or they're severely injured. They have to develop patience.
Mhm.
Uh, Man, I hope that never happens to me.
I hope
Um,
it doesn't either,
um,
buddy.
the USGS.
Yeah,
Oh, it's terrible. What
United
what a crime.
States
They should never
Geological Service.
said that silver will be the first element on the periodic table to disappear. Ain't that some stuff? Got
Yeah,
any? We've talked about it before. Did you get any, or are you just going to wait until the very last second and panic? That's up
well,
to
you
you if
can
that's the way
barely
you want
get
to do it.
any now.
Oh yeah, the premiums. The premiums are an outrage.
$6.50 an
I'm
ounce.
looking for one of my notes. Yeah, it's getting weird. You can still get silver, but there will. So if we, okay, so to that point, um, as I mentioned before the show, one of my favorites, Victor Davis Hanson, brilliant man. Um,
Yeah.
he's a college professor, but not one of those that needs to be euthanized. Um, he also writes for the Hillsdale College.
Yes.
Brilliant man. I think if I didn't mention him, I'll bet I mentioned him. Um, Mentioned in an interview this week with uh, Brian Kilmeade, that the left will not stop talking about civil war.
No,
So
they won't.
we have this.
It's like
Yeah.
they're
So
looking
there
forward to
was
it. They
this.
want it.
Yeah, there was this real piece of trash, Frances Fox Piven, and her satanic husband,
Yeah.
um, uh, Cloward.
Yeah.
These two wrote a book about basically how to destroy the United States. Of course, they're I believe they're retired college teachers. Oh, good. That's just what you need.
Oh yeah.
But she said you would have to basically follow the recipe that we see our government following right now. But
Right.
the one element that cannot be dispensed with is the civil violence. So really, all they're doing is following Piven's revolution cookbook, and now they're going to try to foment violence in the streets. Well, of course, that would certainly work to their advantage.
Well,
So if I'm, and this is all I really want to say about this. Yeah,
I was just going to say, Rick, when they think of violence in their streets, they're thinking about,
yeah,
the summer 2 years ago. I'm afraid they're biting off more than they can chew in this country. If they really want to create a revolution, one, I
well,
don't think they'll win. And two, it'll be so much
yeah.
more. I mean, it's going to be like throwing a gasoline tanker truck on a bonfire. It's not going to do what they want to do.
I don't. I'm really just not convinced of that. I know what you're saying, but I think what they're looking for is citizen against citizen violence. I think they're looking
Well, they'll get that
for
too.
the a dissolving of the social fabric. But you know, and that will be fine for them. The I only want to say a couple more things here. There is uh, a metric out there. How much land does it take? How much garden area do you have to have to support a family of four? And they're talking about basically all of your needs. They're talking about Curtis Stone says a half acre. Um, I just don't see where he gets that. He has a family of four, and he was not only providing food for his family, he was making a living selling the rest on much less than that. So, you know, if you've only got a quarter acre lot, don't get excited. You can, I think even if you have extraordinary uh, constraints on your food supply. In other words, you go to the store with a shopping list, but you come back with half of what you wanted.
Right.
If you've got if your yard is a typical suburban lot and you've got it all planted out, you should be able to provide the rest for yourself. And that would be the way that I would look at it. There is one more thing, and what you're going to have to do is clip this out because I see my notes blew
I
out
can clip it.
into the crepe myrtle, and I'm going to walk around and get my notes. I'll be back in 90 seconds. Yeah, one last thing. Can you read this?
It says Mr. Ducks, Mr. Not, Mr. Two, CM Wangs, LIB, Mr. Ducks.
Okay. You have to read it. You have to read it in Southern dialect, and then it'll work.
I can't do that anymore.
No.
It took me years to get off of that Southern twang.
This is right up there with the deer joke and the chicken joke.
Okay.
MR ducks, MR not, MR ducks, MR not,
Oh, I
MR2, CM. Are you going to keep doing that? Stop. MR ducks, MR not, MR2, CM wangs, LIB, MR ducks. Sorry. Nobody can read this except me. All right.
No, once you read
Okay,
it, I understood it.
Well, they'll never fool you again with that one. Yeah.
Nope.
But you know, if you want to be nice, if somebody shows you that, just pretend you never saw it and let them have fun.
Okay.
Yeah, Mother Angelica says, if you're to be tolerant of old people is a bit of a chore. To look like you're interested in what they're saying is a nice thing, but the question is, when you're hearing the same thing for the 10th or 12th time, can you look as though you're just as interested as you were the first time? Yeah. Anyway. All right.
Yeah.
Then what about a prayer? I got a weed whip. I got to whip some weeds.
Wow. Do they enjoy it?
Say one more time. I'm losing my connection here.
I said, do they enjoy it? You know, the whip and chill.
Well, they keep coming back for more, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking you'd say. Okay.
They're back once a week for another dose. All right. Holy Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thee, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the divine power of God, thrust into hell Satan and all of the other evil spirits who wander through the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen.
Amen, Rick, and thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll try to be
Yeah.
back
Thank you.
within a week. This is a busy time of year for all of us, but we'll do our best. Should have another interview up this week to go along with some of the others. Rick, do you ever watch any of those that I do?
Yeah, I do because I like to, watch them to make sure that myself.
Okay, I was just curious. Anyway, folks,
Yeah.
we will be back.
Yeah.
Not sure when, not sure what day, but hopefully we'll have this up by Monday afternoon. Takes me a while to process stuff, and I've been a little bit under the weather, so I've been sleeping a lot. So anyway, we'll do our best. Rick, I thank you for being here today. As always, you put out a tremendous amount of information, and it's greatly appreciated. So.